This article is discussing about the environmental injustice and health risks that are associated with electronic waste in Ghana. E-waste refers to discharged electronic products that are not working or products that at the end of their useful life which pose significant threats to human and also environment. According to WHO, e-waste is the fastest growing stream of solid waste in the world. It caused by COVID-19 and associated global lockdown, which has contributed to an estimation of 57.4 million metric tons of e-waste generated worldwide. Ghana, as well as other less fortunate countries like Nigeria and Ivory Coast, frequently illegally sort or dispose of e-waste that is collected for recycling by wealthy countries. This research is using the qualitative methodology since the article is compiling the empirical data on e-waste and environmental injustice and critically reviewing the body of literature that is currently in publication. Not only that, the document provides insightful recommendations for effective e-waste management and mitigation of health inequities, including comprehensive policies and also regulations. Ghana and Africa may encourage sustainable development while lowering the disposal of e-waste and health disparities by putting these suggestions into practice. Therefore, all stakeholders need to be committed, cooperative, and persistent in order to handle this complex situation successfully.
So the first issue is about environmental inequality and injustice. In a world where technology evolves at a rapid pace, the consequences of its disposal often go unnoticed. But for many communities, especially those marginalized by socio-economic factors, the reality of environmental injustice is stark. A local community meeting where concerned residents gather to discuss the environmental challenges they face. They say they live in the midst of electronic waste with no protection from its harmful effects, and the neighborhoods are burdened with the toxins from discarded electronics affecting their health and the environment. The low-income communities and communities of color in Ghana are disproportionately exposed to the harmful effects of e-waste pollution. This includes health risks from toxic chemicals and environmental damage to their surroundings. The second issue is about lack of proper e-waste management. There is a complete absence of or inadequate policies, statutes, technology, and appropriate treatment facilities to handle the influences of e-waste. This means there are no clear rules or regulations for e-waste disposal, no advanced technology for safe processing, and a lack of designated areas for proper treatment. This causes civilians, such as low-income earners, settlers, children, and people with minimal education are disproportionately exposed to its health effects. E-waste workers have increased exposure to hazardous chemicals due to using crude methods to burn and extract valuable metals from e-waste without using personal protective equipment.
Waste management issue of e-waste in Ghana can be called as a toxic colonialism. It is a term used to describe the phenomenon where wealthy countries in the global north export their electronic waste to poorer countries in the global south, often without adequate environmental and safety regulation. This practice can lead to the significant environmental and health hazards for the communities where the e-waste is dumped or processed. Africa, among the other regions in the global south, has been a destination for a significant amount of this e-waste. Ghana, one of the developing countries, has become a state that unlawfully sorts and disposes of e-waste acquired from more prosperous countries. This issue can be related with the concept of democratic basis of environmental concern. This concept emphasizes that environmental issues are inherently linked to democratic processes, citizen participation, and social justice. In a democratic society, people have the right to voice their concern about environmental degradation and advocate for change. In the case of Ghana and e-waste issue, the democratic basis of environmental concern highlights the importance of involving affected communities, civil society organizations, and policymakers in decision-making processes. It calls for transparency, accountability, and equitable distribution of environmental benefits. Therefore, the decision of e-waste sortation and disposal must be made through democratic processes where it allows people participation.
In addition to our focus on the issue of e-waste in other nations, we can observe it firsthand in Malaysia, our own nation. According to Department of Environmental, they predict that Malaysia will produce 24.5 million pieces of e-waste in 2025 and only 10% of total e-waste generated is recycled. This prediction suggests a significant increase in electronic device consumption and subsequent disposal. The rising popularity of electronics coupled with shorter lifespan of devices due to rapid technological advancement contribute to this project increase in e-waste generation. Not only that, Malaysia also had to deal challenges to overcome the problem of e-waste in the country, which are inadequate collection and lack of recycling infrastructure. This is because the e-waste was disposed of in landfill and posing environment and health risk from the presence of toxic materials in electronic devices. Another challenge is the informal recycling practices such as open burning and untrained dismantling of e-waste that contribute to air pollution and expose workers to hazardous substances. Therefore, Malaysia had several solutions made to curb the e-waste issues by implementing environmental legislation. For example, Environmental Quality Scheduled Waste Regulation 2005 and National Solid Waste Management Act 2007 to regulate e-waste management. In addition, the government also launched initiatives like National E-Waste Management Program and the E-Waste Collection Centre Program to promote proper disposal and recycling of e-waste. Based on this journal article, there are some insightful recommendations for effective e-waste management and reducing health inequalities, including comprehensive policies and regulations. The first recommendation is promoting awareness and education. Increasing awareness about the hazard of e-waste is crucial for changing behaviors and fostering responsible disposal by educating informal workers and the general public about the dangers that e-waste poses to the environment and public health. For example, it can be achieved through public awareness campaign, community education initiative, and academic initiative like e-waste awareness campaign in Nigeria. The campaign utilized various communication channels including social media, community workshops, and school outreach programs to educate the public about the dangers of improper e-waste disposal. The second recommendation is enhancing regulation. Strengthening regulations is essential to prevent the indiscriminate disposal of e-waste. However, effective enforcement is often a challenge due to resource constraint, corruption, and lack of capacity. Thus, collaboration between government agencies, international organizations, and civil society groups is necessary to ensure compliance with existing regulation and strengthen enforcement mechanism. As an example, the Hazardous and Electronic Waste Control and Management Act passed by the Ghanaian Parliament was enforced to restrict the amount of hazardous and electronic waste imported into developing countries while complying with international accords like the Basel and Bamako Convention. Therefore, we agree to support every thoughtful recommendation for effective e-waste management and reducing health inequalities, including comprehensive policies and regulation. This is because to address the widespread issue of e-waste and reduce uncontrolled disposal while addressing the resulting health inequalities, collaborative efforts are required by many stakeholders, including the public, businesses, and government entities. By promoting awareness and education, improving regulation, and implementing formal recycling programs, it is believed to be able to address the issue of e-waste management, as each of these recommendations has been proven effective.
So, we can conclude that electronic waste is a problem that can have a bad impact on the environment and also human health. Based on the issue of e-waste in Ghana, its impact on the environment, which is Ghana has faces serious water contamination problem as a result of chemical pollution from e-waste. Besides, the aquatic plants and animals were also affected by e-waste activities. In the issues mentioned above, the government in Ghana should make sure the citizens participate in discussions about e-waste management policy and also addressing environmental issue with the social justice perspective. So, as we can see in Malaysia, the government tightened more regulations to prevent e-waste from being discarded not properly. For example, Malaysia has implemented the environmental legislation, which is Environmental Quality Regulations 2005 and National Solid Waste Management Act 2007 to regulate e-waste management. So this will punish people who do not comply with the rules and regulations.